Good afternoon and welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream for today, September 2, 2020. We have an exciting company to introduce to you today, FansUnite Entertainment. Stock symbol is FUNFF over the counter and FANS, fans on the CSE. Company is an esports space. Video games. This is the biggest market right now. There's more people watching and betting, or actually, well, they're not betting as so much, but there's more people watching esports than actual professional sports. The betting market for esports is $17 billion globally. It's exploding. FansUnite is in that market space. Today they announced a major deal where they are bringing esports betting to the U.S. casino and sportsbook marketplace. This is a game changer, a key catalyst here for the upside. You're gonna find out more from the company. You're gonna meet Scott and Darius in a few minutes. For anybody that's new to our program, our goal with Wall Street Reporter's next Superstock live streams is to bring you companies which we believe have 10x to 100x upside potential. We've already had 3 stocks in the past 6 months that are up between 10 and 20x, and a bunch of others that are triple-digit winners in the last 6 weeks or so. And we're going to find out today if FansUnite is our next 10-bagger or more. So as always, the next super stocks, they have 3 things in common. These are companies which are going after big multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. They are at key inflection points right now, and they have multiple near-term catalysts in place which can drive transformational growth and upside appreciation in the stock price. So the format for today is Scott is going to present and joined by Darius. They're going to present for about 20 minutes, and we're going to open up for Q&A. And really, it's your Q&A that makes these events special. So please, ask your questions to Scott and Darius, and then decide for yourself if FansUnite is our next super stock, our next 10-bagger or more. With that said, please welcome Scott Burton and Darius Egdami. Scott, take it away.
Great, thanks, Jack. Just making sure you guys can see my screen first before I get going in the slides. You guys good? Okay. Yeah, so thank you for that. I'm just going to jump into our slides here. So it'll be a combination of Darius and I. So just as a background, FansUnite now is the amalgamation of 2 companies. So one I founded called Ascot Entertainment. Darius founded FansUnite. So we recently completed the amalgamation of the 2 companies. And as you mentioned, Ascot kind of brings an esports background, esports betting. We were looking to add or get back into traditional sports. FansUnite was in the traditional sports space and online gambling, looking to get that esports component. So the 2 companies have merged together to really accelerate the growth. So it was a pretty transformative change for both of us. So what we'll do here is now talk about sort of the combined entity, what it looks like, and then really touch on, as you just mentioned, sort of the what you guys are looking for. So it is a massive market. We don't need to spend a lot of time. I think everyone knows online gambling. It's in the hundreds of billions of dollars now, especially if you include the unregulated markets. People are estimating it's $1 trillion plus business. So no doubt we're in a massive space. The esports angle we have right now really attracts the younger demographic, which is the biggest growth space. So that's kind of the beauty of what we have in our platform and product right now. We will talk about the inflection points. So the merge of the 2 companies was one. The U.S. announcement today was another, and near the end we'll come back and talk about the other ones we have coming. And then the catalyst. So that's really the roadmap. So we have multiple catalysts, many of which are going to be coming at us in the next 6 months. So it's exciting times for us. I'll let Darius jump off from here, and then I'll come back in a moment.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, exactly. So one of the big reasons we're excited about what we're doing here at FansUnite is, of course, the sheer size of the industry that Scott talked about, and the continued growth and recognition that is currently getting, especially with the U.S. market right now opening up state by state. There's a huge opportunity and a market for a company like ours. And we had a great announcement this morning, getting ourselves into the U.S. market. So we're excited about that. So as we look at just some of our counterparts right now in the industry, a lot of successful companies in the U.S. right now. GAN has already hit a $600 million market cap. It's a technology provider. We look at companies like GVC Holdings. They have a $6.3 billion market cap. Penn National Gaming made some huge waves earlier this year when they bought Barstool Sports, and of course David Portnoy and his database of social media followers, and they've now almost got to an $8 billion market cap. And then you look at DraftKings, which is probably the biggest story in the gaming industry this year. Over 12.9 billion. Their stock has actually done tremendously well today, as they just announced they brought on Michael Jordan as an advisor and investor as well. So that's a huge story. They bought SB Tech earlier in the year as well, which is a sports betting technology provider, similar to what we're doing. So we believe we're in great shape right now. A low entry point compared to a lot of our peers. We're following closely, the path that these companies have had to be successful over the last year or two. And so here, before we dive into kind of each company or asset that we do have, this is an overarching picture of what we do at FansUnite. So FansUnite is the parent company. CSE, our ticker symbol is FANS, and on the OTC, we're FUNFF. So after the merger with Ascot, we now have three companies below us. We have FansUnite, we have Ascot, which is esports betting, and we have Mcbookie, which is our UK sportsbook. And then you can see below some of our assets, and we will walk you through each one of these today through our B2C channel, which is our business to consumer, as well as our B2B side. And before we dive into that, then we just want to give you guys some quick highlights of where we're at right now as a company. So we currently have 4 business to consumer platforms live. So these are the platforms that we own, that we run, that we market, we brand. That's Mcbookie in the UK, Vamos in the Latin American market, and both FansUnite and Esports Bets globally. So these 4 B2C brands already have had 350 million of betting volume since inception. We have over 300,000 registered members that we get to target, which is great for us. We're very focused on growth on these B2C platforms over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. And then on the business to business side, where we white label our technology out to other operators, we currently have 4 clients signed. 2 of those are live. 2 of those are going live later this year. And we have a lot of low-hanging fruit here, as this has all been inbound traffic for us so far. So again, another big focus for ours will be going out there and getting more clients on the B2B side, which Scott will talk about as we move forward through this presentation.
Yeah, so the B2B, so we have multiple revenue streams in FansUnite, which I think is key. So we have the ability to go direct to consumer in certain regions and with sites. And then we've got the B2B angle, which is where we go business to business, more of a SaaS model, so software as a service in the online gambling space. We have the ability to work with a couple of different types of people, so we can license our software to existing operators in the online gaming space, so people who have their own licenses, their own infrastructure of payments and KYC, which is age identity location verification. So we can license to them, or we have the ability to sub-license. So we can offer up gaming sub-licenses for people who don't want to go to the effort of licensing themselves, but want to be more of a brand and focused on the marketing and customer acquisition. So we really focus on 2 parts of the B2B side. So we have the Chameleon Gaming Platform first, which is our full stack of software solutions for online gambling. And then we've got Ascot Games. So we go to Chameleon. So it's a complete B2B turnkey offering, which was originally built for esports. So in terms of esports, we can offer pre-match betting on esports, stream betting or in-play betting on esports, daily fantasy for esports, as well as a bunch of tools to manage those sites. With the bringing together of FansUnite, we can now offer a traditional sportsbook as well. So really what we are trying to look for or prevent is exit points in the platform, meaning that once we get a user on the platform, we want to maximize, or our partners want to maximize the revenue per user. So if they're an esports fan, which is typically a younger demographic, it doesn't mean that they don't want to bet on soccer, they don't want to bet on football. So we don't want them to leave to do that. And it also has the casino side. So if they want to play some quick random number generated games, we can do that as well. So I'll jump to, our Chameleon Platform was recently nominated or shortlisted for Esports Betting Supplier of the Year award with some of the biggest iGaming platform providers in the world. So I'll jump to a quick demonstration of what the Chameleon Platform looks like here. And apologies if there's any lags, it's just down to live streaming, but this will be online on Wall Street Reporter later, so you can come back and take a look. So here what we're showing is a demonstration site of the Chameleon Platform. So you'd come in and you see an esports betting lobby. We have multiple data partners plugged into the platform, so we have the widest, array of available matches to bet on. You can see on this first match here, we've got another 93 markets. Where we're really, I think, separate ourselves is what we built in terms of stream betting or in-play, which is kind of our vision for what esports betting should look like. We're appealing to a different demographic. It's, as we said, it's the millennials, 18 to 30-year-olds is really what we're targeting. And that's why we have a ton of interest, because now we have a new acquisition tool for online gaming operators who might have been traditional sports books. They're seeing their demographics sort of aging out and need a way to capture this new generation of sports bettors and casino players. And we think this is kind of a perfect product for that. One, there's over 500 million gaming fans in the world right now that follow esports. So here what we're providing is a really highly engaging product where they can watch their streams from our sites or our platform and then be betting real time about things that are going to happen in the next, say, 2 to 5 minutes. So we can be running these bets on the right-hand side every 30, 40 seconds, highly specific to what's going to happen in the next little while. So it gives the users a reason to stay on the platform. Let's a look at the Chameleon Platform. The next one is kind of our most exciting probably business that we've added recently, which is Ascot Games. And so this is where we're building out what people call, I guess, casino style games is what people, I think, link them to. But they're really more video game or esports based random number generated games. So we have our own certified random number generator, which allows us to build all of these hundreds of games we can do on top. So we just introduced Ascot Games. We have 2 games out now. One is called Crash Heist, one is called Loot Hunter. We've got a full suite coming, so the next 2 are in development now, and we should have, approaching 10 games out next year. So there's a couple of things we can do here. We can offer these through our Chameleon gaming platform, so any of our partners who signs up to Chameleon has access to these games. But also we can sell these as standalone products into other operators, and that's what we're doing now. So we have 2 casino game aggregators. So these are companies that will aggregate all of the content from all of the providers and then push that out to their hundreds or thousands of online sports books and casinos. So very soon we'll be pushing these out to hundreds of operators. I'll give you a quick idea of what we mean by these games that we think appeal to this demographic as well, as opposed to the more traditional spinning fruit wheels that you would expect on a casino. So this first game, Crash Heist, got a video game look and feel. Here, what you're doing is entering into a bank vault to rob it. So you place your wagers. Once you set your bet amount, your bet just starts rising. So I think we got a bit of delay on the live stream. Right. That was a quick refresh. If not, we can show a demo video of it. The idea is you're on a bank. We want to give the users, a sense that there's some control. So what they can do is place their bets. They have the ability to cash out at any time. If they don't cash out before the police arrive, then they lose all their money. If they are able to stay in and cash out before the police arrive, then they just get a multiplier of whatever their money is, which rises. But you never know when it's going to turn off. The second game we have, Loot Hunter, is built on a what they call a loot case concept, which is very popular in video games now, where you go in, you buy a case for a certain amount of money, you open it up, and you hope you get something more valuable. So as I said, the 2 games are done now. We'll be pushing them out through aggregators on our own sites coming soon. And then we're about to announce what the next 2 games are as well. So let Darius kind of jump in on our direct-to-consumer offerings.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So we have 4 direct-to-consumer platforms right now, and we'll walk you through each one of those. So the first is Mcbookie. This is our UK sportsbook, focused really on the Scottish market. Awesome company, awesome brand. They have some great operators out there. Been around for about 10 years, built a good clientele. We have about 10,000 active players right now. And we've done about 135 million of betting volume just in the last 3 years alone. We've had, even with the pandemic, some very, very strong months this year already, both on the sports betting side, on the casino and virtual sports. And we can just show you the website right now, show you how it works. This is the platform here. So you can see we have sports, we have in-plays, we have virtual sports, we got casino, and we actually just added live casino last week, which is quite exciting. So just up front, horse racing is one of our biggest sports. We have a horse race coming up. You can make your bets just like a traditional sports book. Play your wagers, of course, and then you can bet live as well. So we offer every sport on here, including in-play and virtual. So big focus of ours will be growing Mcbookie over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit. Remarkably, have been able to get to where we have organically. So we're excited about really putting some resources and some fuel on the fire behind the Mcbookie platform. The next platform we have is the FansUnite Sportsbook. So we do have two FansUnite Sportsbooks. One's a social platform, so there's no real money involved. We give our users a free virtual currency. They're able to make their bets. They're able to track their results. But it's social, so they can track other people on the website, see how they're doing, follow the top guys, and start winning more when they go place real money bets. So we have about 30,000 registered members on that platform globally. We use that as our kind of free to play to then be able to monetize on our players and bring them over to our own real money platforms or other affiliated platforms.
And then for us, so Ascot, we came in with some consumer-facing brands on the esports side. So, we started out, we put out the first ever daily fantasy site for esports, which was esportspools.com. And then with esports bets, that was our esp.bet domain, which is where we were testing out the real money aspect. So esportspools.com remains a free-to-play product. esp.bet domain is a real money. So we've registered over 200,000 users in 160 countries on those sites. And it was really the esportspools.com that convinced us back in 2014 that we wanted to get ahead of this esports wave of online bettors and start to build out our full suite of products. So esp.bet and esportspools.com both sit on the Chameleon platform that we talked about. And then what we're looking to do now, because we own the platform, we own the technology, there's a lot of leverage we have there. So we now have the ability to put out sites very quickly. One thing we're going to do is look to do these smaller regional brands. So Vamos GG is launching, and it's a Latin American focused brand, primarily on the Brazilian market, which is a very good esports market. If we didn't have the ability in terms of owning technology and launching sites under our own licensing, it may not make sense to a specific one small market like that. But that's the beauty of having our Chameleon platform. So what we're doing is it allows us to focus there and focus really in on like language and localization, especially around payment methods. So when you're an online operator going into markets, payments are typically one of the the most challenging parts of launching. So we can really target the payment methods that work in those regions, the language, and also focus on marketing that is a little more cost effective. So if you're trying to be a global brand, trying to address the global market with your marketing spend is very challenging. If you want to go into a small market and sign online streamers, so professional gamers who maybe only speak Brazilian Portuguese, it's quite more cost effective, and your customer acquisition costs come down quite a bit. So this is the first one we're going to do, and then we look to replicate this in other markets later this year and next year. So all this is on sort of the back of our licensing experience and expertise. So going back to 2013 when we got our first licenses in the Isle of Man, we've been through multiple jurisdictions. We've got an infrastructure in place, which includes servers, offices, directors and managers and anti-money laundering officers in multiple regions. So we have the Isle of Man. That was the first place we got licensed. That was back when it was on the UK whitelist. It changed around 2015. We stayed there for a while. We actually were the first esports betting company ever to get an Isle of Man license back in 2017. We're the first company they offered or allowed to take crypto betting. But we recently moved away from the Isle of Man. And we, through a partner company, we have a Curacao license. So we have a partnership in Curacao with a group that allows us to offer white labels through a Curacao gaming license. We're just in the final stages of our MGA, which is the Malta Gaming Authority, which is a tier 1 European jurisdiction. One of the main reasons to go there is because it is a tier 1 jurisdiction, but it also gives us EU access, which that was something we didn't have when we were in the Isle of Man. So it opens up a lot more banking and payment options. We've passed our technical audits and we're just in the final steps of approval there. The UKGC, the United Kingdom Gambling Commission, is considered sort of the gold standard. Through Mcbookie operates under a UKGC license now, but it's when they sub-license. So we're going to begin the process of having FansUnite get our UK license. And then the United States, so it's a bit of a, you know, it's a tough one to navigate just because of the state-by-state rules, but you know, the nice news a couple of years ago is when they repealed PASPA, which allows the states to make a decision on sports betting, which many are doing now. So there's a big opportunity if you look at, I think, MGM and some of the online or the brick and mortar casinos. They think that online sports betting is the biggest opportunity for any gambling group in the US right now. So we have a bit of a different approach to the US. We don't intend to go in as a direct-to-consumer operator, mostly because of the challenges around licensing and the cost of marketing. You've already got big operators like FanDuel and DraftKings spending hundreds of millions on the marketing. So we intend to go in on our B2B side. So we have the software and we're looking to license initially the esports betting platform into the US, which will be our entry point into the US. It was something we started to talk about this year, and then we made an announcement today which really accelerates that. And that is, we've announced a partnership with a group called Gameco. So Gameco is a Vegas-based online gambling company that's been focused on the casinos with similar to what we're trying to do with our online casino games, but they were doing them in cabinets. So video game themed or game of skill cabinets in casinos. They were looking to add an online esports betting product into their casino partners, but as well as some just pure online operators. So with this partnership, it gets us in there because Gameco has licenses across the US. So we now have the licensing aspect covered as well as some of the business development. And then there's two other major parties involved. One is Grid Esports. So Grid Esports is buying up the data rights for esports. So on professional tournaments and events, Grid Esports will own the data rights and streaming. So that gives us the best data access out there. And then they are partnering with a group called 10star, who we also have a relationship. And 10star is probably some of the best odds and risk managers in the business. So they'll take the data, create the odds you would see on the sites, manage the risk, plugs into our Chameleon platform, and then we go into the US. So the partnership between us all got announced today, and then we'll be looking to launch our first installations into the US soon, and then we'll follow up here with that announcement. So we have a very strong team as well. So we got people who've been in the space for many years. The FansUnite team is over 20 people now, spread between North America and Europe. But we've really added to the board strength recently with the merge. So the three we'll mention, so Darius and myself remain on the board, but we've got Harish, who is based in Asia and is one of the leading guys in the Asian market, was former president of Paddy Power Betfair Asia, which is now the Flutter Entertainment Group, which is the biggest online gambling group in the world. Chris Grove, who is US based in Las Vegas, I think considered probably the leading expert on the US betting space, especially when it comes to regulation. He's also sold and been involved in a number of online gambling exits. So he's really helping us navigate the US space. And then James Keene was a founding member of Paradise Poker. So he's a pioneer in online gambling. Paradise Poker rose to be one of the top 3 poker sites in the world. James saw that through an exit to Sporting Bet, remained on with them. That's sold to GVC, who we mentioned earlier, and currently the CEO of a casino games developer. So James is helping us on the games side of the business. So just coming back to how we started in terms of the 3 things around the super stock. One is this massive industry we're in that's growing at 8% plus a year, looking to be the biggest opportunity in the US right now. As I said, if you add in the unregulated or the other markets, you're probably approaching a $1 trillion industry. If you look at the esports growth, we're looking at another industry that's billions on its own, as well as just a massive audience that follows esports and is growing there. The inflection point, so we completed this merge, which was really an inflection point for both of us. What we're going to be seeing is how we turn on all these multiple revenue streams we have now. So we've got the game side of the business, we've got the direct to consumer, and we've got the B2B. You're going to see some big growth on our B2C revenue as we ramp up the sites that we're launching now, plus the Mcbookie. More licenses coming online. We're looking for the Malta very soon, and then we made the US entry today, which is a big one. So just to watch. So I know we'll be back here again, Jack, and people can follow us along and make sure we do what we say we're going to do. But the licenses are on the way. We've got this US expansion now. So now that we've got the licensing side of the US figured out through our partnerships, we can really start to push on the business development side, which will bring us more business-to-business partners, not just in the US, but we have a pretty full pipeline outside of that, and that's really with no business development yet. So we're bringing on some business development team now, which is really going to grow the B2B partnerships, so you'll be seeing those ramp up. VamosGG.com, the marketing is starting this week on that site, which is on the Chameleon platform. We'll look to add more regional sites. Revenue growth, the full suite of RNG games that we'll have out next year and continue to grow that, but expect to see about 10 of those games from us next year in total. And then M&A, so it's always been a strategy of FansUnite. That's how we entered this partnership. Prior to that, they'd completed the Mcbookie acquisition. So in a short period of time, being public since I believe it was May, there's already been 2 major acquisitions and more we expect to happen. So that was a big reason for us joining up with FansUnite, just to accelerate the growth from our side and help them as well. So Jack, I'll finish that part of the slideshow, and we can be contacted anytime, and I guess we should open up to questions now.
Okay, let's jump into some questions. I gotta say, it's really exciting to kind of see the company really it's the dawn of a major new market. I mean, even though it's already huge, it's already big, but this is something very impressive. Okay, so let's go to the first question we have from Luis. He's asking, is sports betting internationally mostly in soccer?
Yeah, I think the biggest betting market internationally, globally, is soccer for sports.
Okay.
But what you'll see, if I could add to that, though, I mean, we looked at sites like Pinnacle, which is probably one of the biggest volume sites in the world, pinnacle.com. I think, they would say now that esports, really in the last 3 years, is probably their 4th biggest market, maybe even approaching their 3rd biggest market. So in a pretty short period of time, like esports has made a massive impact on a traditional sports book that is actually, I think, I don't know how to say it properly, but treating esports with the respect it deserves. So you'll see a lot of sites that add esports, and they can't be without it now. But really, what we were trying to do with Chameleon is bring a product to traditional sports books that they can insert into their site that actually appeals to the users they're trying to capture, as opposed to what most of them are doing right now.
No, it's very interesting, because the thing with the esports is I guess the betting, why it's so big. It's like, even if I think we were just talking earlier, like if you look at like what's happened in with the Vegas casinos over the last, let's call it 10 years, it used to be that the shows, that was like the big thing. Everybody would go to the shows. People would sit and watch a show. And now, in the last 10 years old, before the pandemic, but the clubs was the big thing, like where they sell the bottle service, or they have 20,000 people, and they have these DJs that are getting paid $1 million a night.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's become the big problem, because people want to participate. Like the new generation, the millennials, they want to participate. They don't want to sit back. And with esports, I guess the great thing is that pretty much anybody can do it. Not everybody can be Michael Jordan,
yeah.
But pretty much anybody can play a video game. So it's amazing. Let's see, we got a question from Adam is asking, is there a plan to monetize the social FansUnite sportsbook? Companies such as eToro in the investing field have had profound success with this concept.
Yeah, I can take that. Yeah, absolutely. That's our plan. We are following the eToro model very closely, as well as kind of the PokerStars model, getting people in on a virtual kind of playground, letting them play with play money, and then eventually moving them over to real money sports betting. So we will monetize on those shortly. We want to move them over to our own platforms, wherever those players are coming from, or to affiliated sports books and casinos that we have partnerships with. So definitely we have a good user base here. We have over 30,000 players. It's been growing over the last few years, and we're getting ready to monetize on those this year.
Okay. Alvin is asking, what is the purpose of obtaining gaming licenses and how much do they cost? It sounds like you already have a B2B product or partnership, then the operator will already have the gaming license in the region.
Yeah, so gaming licenses can be challenging to navigate. So, but we've done it a few times. So it really depends on the region. So some places, take the UK for example. So we're a software provider. But if we want to provide our software to a UK sportsbook, for example, we would need a UK GC software license. So a lot of these software providers need to have software licenses to actually provide in certain jurisdictions, and some we don't. So we kind of look at market size, market opportunity, and make decisions based on that, on where we're going to go after licenses. So if you look at the model we have, or the licenses we're going to have, if you look at our access to Curacao through a partner, we're adding to Malta, and there's another example. So in Malta, we're going to have 2 licenses. One is a direct-to-consumer license, so that allows us to put out sites that go direct to consumers or white label to partners who want to go direct to consumers. But we'll also have a critical software supply license. So that means there's other EU operators who we can supply our software to. So we have 2 businesses set up there, both getting a license, one B2B, one B2C. So it really depends on where you want to be. But we've gone through technical audits on our platform now in 3 jurisdictions. So we're highly confident in it. It's operating in a number of jurisdictions now. So we'll just keep an eye on the regulation because it's always changing, and then we'll just keep making decisions on where we're going to go after licenses. Cost-wise, it varies from, it's hard to say because there's so many things to go around the license. So if you look at, a Malta license, you're going to pay 25,000 euros annually for that license. But then you need the infrastructure in place. So you need physical servers to host, sometimes in multiple countries. You need people on the ground in those regions, acting as directors, acting as money laundering officers. So there's a lot more to it than just paying for the license every year.
Okay, another question from Alvin. I think Alvin wants to go into the esports betting business. He's asking, are you still spending any R&D on? Are you still investing in R&D for technology? If so, how much money needs to be invested over the next few years? I guess what's your R&D budget is probably the question.
Yeah, I think a good thing about us, and this probably comes back to where we're at an inflection point, is we've been building technology on both sides, FansUnite and Ascot, before we joined, for the last 4 or 5 years. So when I say that we're positioned now to go into any jurisdiction in terms of infrastructure and technology, we are. What we're doing now is constantly improving, adding features, building stuff out. So in terms of a spend on R&D, it's pretty minimal, which is, again, I think a nice point to get into a company like ours. When that part is done, when the licensing is done, when the building is done, the testing, and we're just really here now to turn on the revenue. So the R&D will be a small portion of what we spend going forward. So I guess that's the answer there.
Okay. Richard's asking, any plans to uplist from OTC?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. I think it's something we'll address in the coming months. Fans going through the Mcbookie acquisition, then us merging our companies, then us doing a bunch of things, getting licenses. We got a lot on our plates right now in terms of dealing with regulatory bodies and getting stuff done. So I think we're going to just take a bit of a breather on that front and come back and revisit that in a few months.
Okay, Derek is asking, what is the ideal ratio for your revenue as a mix between B2B and B2C?
I don't know if we have an ideal. I mean, I think I know where we think we're going to get to is that our B2B opportunity is much bigger in the long run than our B2C. And that's just more where we see ourselves, I think, as a company, which is really, we're a technology company. Having some B2C operations are good in terms of using what you're building. So it really gives us a good showcase for our product, but also teaches us what we can do better and improve on. So that's a big part of that. The reason why we like the B2B is the scale. So as you scale up the B2C, typically your marketing spend has to go up to get the revenue up. Your customer acquisition costs at some point probably start rising. With our B2B model, we're getting a guaranteed license revenue every month from our partners. So that's, we cover fixed costs on a monthly recurring revenue. A typical B2B deal for us is 36 months with high switching costs. But the upside potential is huge because we take a percentage of revenue share as well. So if our B2B partners start taking off, our costs don't go up the same rate as the revenue growth for us because we're taking a percentage. So ultimately, we see us being much bigger on the B2B side. It's not the case today, but I think that'll flip.
Okay, I get a question for you guys. Oh, you just mentioned the scale. Like, so how big and how fast can you scale if we're talking about the B2B part?
Yeah, so B2B, we've got the ability with our infrastructure now where it's not unrealistic to be able to host a few hundred sites. So I don't see really any ceiling on that coming at us in any time in terms of the actual volume of transactions we can put through the platform. So where we're at now is just on the business development front. So how quickly can we identify and get people through a sales cycle? Some have been really quick, some have been a bit slower. So I think our goal is to be adding a couple quarterly in the next few quarters would be ideal for us, and then ramp up. Going halfway through next year, really trying to ramp that up.
Okay, I get a question for you guys. In terms of so investors can understand like how to value, fans. You're still at early stage in terms of the revenues that they just started coming in. How do you value stock like yours? Is it based on on the technology assets? Can you talk about some comps in the industry so people have an idea of how to compare it, like other companies that started similar to where you were and the valuation and so forth?
You want to grab it, Darius?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, I think we're in a pretty unique situation because, as Scott mentioned, we put a lot of money into our development. So we de-risked our platform quite a bit. So compared to a lot of our competitors, we have a world-class team. We've de-risked our platform by putting a lot of development time into it. So now for us, it's growth stage. And we've actually validated our platform already, right? So we have multiple B2C platforms out there live that are generating revenue. We have 7 figures of revenue already. That's growing every month right now, which is great. And then the B2B side has huge potential upside for us. You look at a lot of these comps out there like SB Tech getting acquired, GAN with huge market caps. And then you look at companies, especially here in Canada, that started out very similar to us with a small technology company, a good team, and on an M&A path to grow to a multi-billion-dollar company like Amaya that recently merged with Flutter to create the largest gaming company in the world. So I think we're positioned well. We have a lower entry point than a lot of our peers, but I think our technology is up there with them. Our teams, we'd match against anyone out there as well. And we have the validation with multiple B2B clients and multiple B2C platforms out there. So I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg of what we can accomplish here as a group.
Okay. Any other questions here? Okay, last chance for questions. I think that's it, guys. Okay, so this is good for the first debut presentation. So again, Scott, Darius, I want to thank you guys for participating in today's Next Superstock live stream. I know there's going to be a lot of news flow coming out in the next, 6 to 8 weeks. We're looking forward to having you back soon. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we'll see you on the next live stream.
Okay. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, guys.